Hey everybody, welcome to Broadway.com's Live at 5. It is Tuesday, December 18th, and I am Ryan Lee Gilbert.
And I'm Paul Wontorek.
And we are joined here in the studio by the marvelous Caitlin Moynihan.
Oh, like
lovely.
Mrs. Maisel.
Yes, the marvelous Miss Moynihan.
Hello, everybody.
We also have a very special guest with us today.
Who's here?
Fra Fee is here to talk to us about the Ferryman and about his upcoming show at Feinstein's 54 Below. All sorts of fun stuff. But before we get to Fra, let's talk about today's top 5.
Welcome to Hollywood, Adam Peskow.
Welcome to Hollywood. Yes.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Yes.
It worked. It worked.
So, Pretty Woman, the
Thank
musical, is still packing them in down at the Nederlander Theater. And this was kind of a surprise.
Came on a
So
note,
Andy Carl is, of course, playing Edward Lewis, the role made famous by Richard Gere. And he's going on vacation because Broadway actors get vacations.
They need vacations too.
It's
yeah,
fair.
They're human.
And I
Yeah.
believe, according to Instagram stories, his wife Orphe is going on vacation with him.
Oh, I
She's
would
also
hope
in the
so.
show.
Yeah.
But well, here's what we found out: Adam Peskow, fantastic original star of Rent at the same theater, the Nederlander, will be filling in for 1 week, January
really
15th
exciting.
to the 20th. And of course, he also did Disaster.
He did.
In the same theater, and he was in Memphis, Aida, Cabaret, Chicago, Something Rotten.
Yeah,
He-
recently toured with Something Rotten all around
Yes,
the country. Yeah.
he is fantastic in everything, and so he'll be there. So go check him out. And he said he's very excited to be with Samantha Barks in the show, and of course also Jason Daniely, Kingsley Leggs, Eric Anderson, and Tommy Bracco. But I'm pretty sure Miss Orphe will be on vacation with her husband.
And our
Makes
coworker
sense.
Joanne is very excited.
Yeah.
She loves Adam Peskow.
Yes.
She'll be there.
Joanne's an OG Rent
Absolutely.
fan, as am I.
And we have lost all chill over this casting.
The entire cast of the off-Broadway production of Be More Chill, they're all coming to the Great White Way. They will all make the transfer to Broadway with that acclaimed show. They will all reprise their turns, including...
Wouldn't it be horrible if we just were like, it's a whole new cast?
Yeah. Like, they were great, but we decided to switch it up. No, they're all coming. Will Rowland, Jason Tam, George Salazar, Jason Sweet Tooth Williams, and Stephanie Sue will all be coming with a production. Of course, it features a book by Joe Trace and an incredible score by Joe Iconis. I was going to say an iconic score by Joe Iconis, but
that would've been
that
good.
tripped me up. Yeah. Stephen Brackett will repeat his work as director. This will begin previews on Broadway on February 13th, and it will open on March 10th at the Lyceum. The kids went nuts for this show off Broadway. Yes,
I know.
this is a big social media millennial hit. So
Yep.
excited to see how it performs on the Great White Way.
And we're definitely going to shout encore for Encore's off-center season.
I'm a stickler for rules, so I'm a little confused about this.
Okay, take me
So
through it.
Encores
Yeah.
does the Off-Center season, which was a series created to honor off-Broadway musicals.
Yes.
And they announced which shows. Ann Kaufman is now the artistic director. So they announced which 3 shows they will be doing this season, and of course, one of them is a Broadway musical. Working premiered on Broadway.
Right, that's right. That's absolutely right.
Anyway, in 1978, it also has been revived off Broadway, and I guess it has a very off-Broadway kind of
Feel to it.
feel
Yeah,
to
vibe.
it. Of course, it is based on Studs Terkel's. If you weren't, I mean, you have to be of a certain age to understand this, but it's about different careers.
Yes,
It's a song cycle about sort of working class people. Patti LuPone was in the original cast playing an editor and a call girl. Which kind of tells you everything.
Yeah.
And it has the
Right.
iconic song, not Iconis song, the iconic song, Just a Housewife. All I am is just a housewife.
Oh,
Nothing
I know.
special,
Oh, of
just a
course,
housewife.
yeah.
And Fathers and Sons, the great Stephen Schwartz song.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I'm a fan of this show, but they've updated it many times over the years. And now there's like Lin-Manuel Miranda has a song in it.
Right.
The other songwriters, Craig Cornelia, Mickey Grant, Mary Rogers, Susan Birkenhead, and James Taylor.
Wow.
You know
James
him.
Taylor.
And it was written originally, it was created by Stephen Schwartz and Nina Faso. And anyway, it's coming back. Ann Kaufman will direct it. That's happening in June, at the end of June 26th and 29th. Then they're doing a show I don't know called Promenade, which was a 1969 off-Broadway musical about 2 escaped prisoners.
Oh.
But I found out a
into
fun
this.
fact.
Yes. Lay it on me.
Oh my God, I'm totally blanking. Never mind, forget my fun fact. And then they're doing Roadshow. Madeline Kahn was in it originally.
Oh, okay.
That was my
Yes.
fun fact.
Madeline Kahn.
And then they're doing Roadshow, which is a very high-profile thing to choose because this is, of course, the Stephen Sondheim, John Weidman show that has been known as Bounce and Roadshow.
Right.
And from like the year 2000 to the year 2010, we were waiting for it to come to Broadway in whatever incarnation. It hasn't. They played out the public, though, under the name Roadshow. And so now that will happen, and Will Davis will direct that. And I forgot, Promenade will be directed by Laurie Woolery, and it is by Al Carmines and Maria Irene Fornes, who passed recently.
Yes.
So anyway, it's a really interesting season. It's just, I'm a little bit of a stickler about the
Yeah, they're
off-Broadway
fudging the
rule.
rules a little bit.
I'm just saying.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is coming back for All That Jazz.
Yeah, he wants to razzle
He wants
dazzle.
more.
He wants more
Yes.
razzle dazzle on Broadway. That Cuba Gooding Jr. does. He, of course, will be returning as Billy Flynn in Chicago, our next door neighbors over at the Ambassador Theater. He will play a 5-week run beginning January 7th, and he will be in the show through February 10th, 2019. So if you didn't get a chance to see him before, this is your chance. Get your tickets now. Don't waste time. You know Cuba Gooding Jr. from so many things. Jerry Maguire, which of course
Show me the money.
He won an Oscar
That was
for
a
that.
bad. I didn't even do it full
was
out.
good.
I'm
No,
sorry.
that's all right. That's all right.
like a
Tested.
hot
Marking.
He got an Emmy nomination for The People vs. O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story, which we loved. He made his Broadway debut in 2013 in The Trip to Bountiful. He's fantastic. He's a great Billy Flynn. He's done it in London. He's doing it here. He can't get enough of the Billy Flynn.
Love it.
So, into it.
And it's going to be the story on tonight.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Hamilton is
It works.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is going back into Hamilton. He's doing it
He
in
is.
Puerto Rico at the
Yes.
University of Puerto
Very
Rico,
exciting.
and he's going to raise money for Flamboyant Arts Fund, which is a great organization in Puerto Rico that raises money for artists.
Yep.
And he's doing this really soon, January 8th to the 27th. I saw Lin recently. There's a piece coming out on the site very shortly. And I asked him, will he wear a wig this time?
Oh, right, because he
Because
had to cut all of his
remember,
hair.
he famously
Yeah.
grew his hair out,
Right, and then
the minute he ended his
shed
run,
it.
he buzzed it all off.
Absolutely.
And he said that unless he can convince Tommy Kail that it's sexier without, he's probably going to wear a wig. So there's a fun
Oh,
fact.
all right, look at that.
Anyway, but that's not the news. The news is that The Tonight Show
Right.
will be doing a special on this on January 15th, and you'll get to see a little bit of the show and find out what they're doing down there during the run because Lynn is really trying to make a difference. Obviously,
Yes.
Hurricane Maria wiped out
Ravaged.
the island, and he really wanted to go and make a difference. One of the really cool things, tickets are extremely hard to find for this
Naturally.
run.
Yeah.
I think you can buy some really expensive tickets to support the fund. And then also, though, 10,000 tickets will be sold during the run for $10.
Wow.
For
that.
locals through the Hamilton app. So every day there will be a giveaway for $10 tickets. So
That's amazing.
they really wanted to
$10
make
to see
sure
Hamilton.
the people of the island
Right.
got to see
Well, they
the
want to
show.
encourage, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
So anyway,
very
look
exciting.
out for my interview. There's going to be more on the site on Lynn. And of course, he opens tomorrow.
He opens in Mary Poppins Returns. I saw
that
it
you
last
just saw.
night. He was fantastic.
Magic.
He's so great. Yes, you're all gonna love it. Yeah,
Okay.
you're fantastic.
I'm out.
Paul, thank you so much. So great doing the news with you. Caitlin, why don't you tell us a little bit about today's guest?
Definitely. Yes, we have Fra Fee in the studio with us today. He's currently making his Broadway debut in The Ferryman. He's reprising the role, which he originated in the West End production. He also appeared in the West End in As You Like It. His other stage credits include Wind in the Willows, The Fix, The Last 5 Years, Romeo and Juliet, Les Mis, and more. So yes, he can and does sing. Follow him on social media at Fra Fee on Twitter and Instagram, and leave all of your questions in the comments down below. Please welcome Fra and Ryan.
Hello there, sir.
Hello.
Thank
how's it
you so
going?
much. I'm great. How are you?
I'm grand, yes.
It's
Thank
so
you
great
for
to have
having me.
Of course, of course. I have to say, and I mean this completely honestly, I absolutely love this show. I'm sure you've heard this from a lot of people. It's one of the best reviewed shows on Broadway.
Yeah.
Audiences are losing their minds for it. It's absolutely incredible. I feel like if there were a switchboard inside of me, like where all of the things that I like, it just flips all of the switches.
Great. Ding,
in
ding,
the
ding,
show.
ding, ding.
Yes, absolutely. It's absolutely
Flipboard
incredible.
as flashy as this studio, which I'm
Yes,
completely
it
obsessed
resembles
with.
something like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but absolutely just blown away by it.
Thank you so much.
Of course, you have been involved. You were involved in London in the West End, of course.
Yeah.
What was it about this show, this story that drew you to it? Why did you want to be a part of it?
Oh God!
I'm sure there
it's
are
such
many.
a silly,
yeah.
silly question when you think
Right,
about it.
Right.
I mean, this was just an absolute no-brainer. I was involved in a developmental reading of this play about 8 or 9 months before I was cast in it, so I knew that it was being written, and I didn't actually think I was going to ever be cast because I thought I was far too old to play the character that I'm playing. But it seems that I'm not fresh-faced.
No.
And so it's been in my blood for quite a long time. I mean, you've got the combination between, it's a very, very deeply personal story. It's set, the play is set in County Armagh. I'm from County Tyrone, which is just its neighbouring county. And in terms of the sort of political context of the play, it's a very, very important story that we're telling. The fact that it's directed by Sam Mendes, who's a complete legend.
Yeah.
I was already completely obsessed with Jez, the playwright,
yeah.
after seeing Jerusalem in the West End a few years before. And it debuted at the Royal Court, which is a wonderful theatre of new writing in London. So when all those things combine, it's like, well, I'm just going to be the luckiest so-and-so if I ever get to be a part of this. And it's truly been just the greatest gift of my life. Once we did the very first preview and we could hear the audience's reaction, which was just something I will quite simply never ever forget.
I believe it, yeah.
We sort of thought, oh, this is something really special, and we thought that Broadway might have been a thing. And the fact that we're here now and we're telling this story to a completely different set of people. And thank you, by the way. I mean, you're just one of so many people that have genuinely been so honest and lovely with their reviews of the play, and people are really, really taking to it in a very, very personal and visceral way, which is great. So yeah, it's just wonderful.
Right. And how was it? I mean, of course, you did it in London. You won an award for your performance in the show. But what was it like for you to be? You've been a performer almost your entire life, right? What is it like to make your Broadway debut? I mean, because it's a different animal, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
Broadway, what was that like for you?
Oh, it's such a massive box to take. It's just it really, really is a dream scenario. I mean, everyone dreams of going to Broadway. It's just a thing, you know. Mm-hmm. When you perform, when you sing and you act, you think like, well, maybe one day I'll get to do it here.
Right.
When I was a kid, I thought, well, I wanted to play Oliver and Oliver.
Naturally. No, of course.
I had this whole sequence of events where I was going to, okay, I'm just going to do it locally and then I'll be discovered there. And then I'll do it in the West End, and naturally that will transfer to Broadway. Yep. So it's not Oliver and Oliver, but
it's still a pretty big deal.
It's an absolute big deal. It's really, really very special, and I will never forget this. Yeah, and I'm very grateful for it.
Right, and you do. I mean, it's about a family. I mean, it's about so many things, but at the core of it is this family. Mm-hmm. And have you grown attached to your cast members in the way? I mean, you must. I mean, with what you're sort of doing up there.
I mean, when we all met together for the first time in rehearsals, we knew that we were going to get on. And most of the cast is Irish. There's one or two English people. But, you know, so we have that common history that we share together, and sense of humour and sense of crack. And crack is a term. It means fun and games and laughter and music. And so we got on anyway. And then the really, really beautiful thing about doing it now is, so I had about 9 months off from the play, and revisiting it now meant that we didn't have to conjure up a false history. Sure. Because you've actually shared a really, really sort of formative experience in doing the play in London, and then doing our own things, going away, spending time with our family and our friends, and then coming back as a core unit again, with all of that history still there. Mm-hmm. And it's transformed a lot of the performances, I think. Yeah. We were very, very comfortable around each other, and it unified us even more, I think. Mm-hmm. It really is a surrogate family that we've got here, particularly being away from home. It's just it's the most wonderful group of people.
Oh, great.
I love them dearly.
That's so great to hear. And you mentioned being away from home. Is this I would assume this is your first time living in New York City? Had you visited before?
I've always been a massive fan of New York. I've visited about 4 times before. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is my first time I've spent any significant amount of time here, and I do love it. But yeah, you know, you sacrifice a lot to be here. And I mean, I live in London, so London's sort of my home now anyway. Mm-hmm. I left Ireland 13 years ago to go and study, but it's only 50 minutes from Ireland to London. Those flights are very, very handy. So I can't just pop on a plane to see my family on
Right.
my day off here. But it's lovely, and I always knew that it was only going to be for this certain amount of time, and being here over the holiday season is particularly wonderful. I'm getting to live out all of my Kevin McAllister fantasies.
Right. Well, I want to know a couple of things. First of all, when you first moved here, what was on your to-do list? What was on your to-go-to list? Like, how did you immerse yourself in New York City when you first got here?
I mean, I had all these grand ideas. I was gonna,
Sure.
I was gonna do it all, Ryan, to be honest. And then I sort of forgot that actually doing this play is really, really exhausting.
It's a lot of work. Yeah,
It's
certainly.
really long as well, but it
No, but
doesn't
it
seem
flies
very long.
by.
It
It
doesn't
flies
seem-
It
by.
flies by. It really does.
It does. No.
But it is long, and it's something that good requires you to give it your all. So I mean, I have just been chilling out a lot, to be honest, whenever I can.
Certainly.
But just simple things, I can listen to some jazz music on Sunday night, and it's nice to meet new people here. The Broadway community is very, very open, very friendly, and actors like to sort of meet up with each other
Yeah,
and
of
talk
course.
about work. And
There are all
stuff.
these little hot spots that they all go to
Yeah.
after their
I
shows.
think that's quite
and, yeah.
cool. And so comparing, lives here, and it's nice. And you do feel like a sort of part of a community.
Yeah, I've seen you in your dressing room serenading your neighbors across the street over
Well,
at the Music Box Theater at Dear Evan Hansen.
The lads
You've sung
in
to
the,
them.
Yeah, the young lads in the play. We sort of sing "Waving Through a Window" as a warm up a lot. Or anytime we're just feeling blue, we'll stick it on and we'll all belt that out. So we were very excited when we realised we were across the road.
Yeah,
from Dear
no,
Evan
I
Hansen.
can imagine. It's a good group over there. And how are you going to be spending the holiday season here? Do you have grand plans?
I have my parents arriving on Sunday.
Oh, lovely. Oh,
which is-
fantastic.
my mum's never been to America before.
Oh, wow.
So that's very exciting. And I'm having a big, massive Christmas Eve dinner at my flat. 'Cause I'm
Oh,
off on
great.
Christmas Eve, which will be lovely. I've got 18 people coming to my flat.
18 people
Yeah.
hosting in your... And is this an apartment suited for 18 people? Or is it
I
gonna
mean,
be
it's spacious, but I might be stretching it a bit.
Have you ever hosted 18 people before? That's...
I know I haven't.
Sorry, I don't mean to
actually have
layer
no
on.
idea how I'm going to do this. I've never spoken this out loud before. But it's actually a completely mental idea.
Just a big charcuterie,
Yeah.
just lots of meats and cheeses.
Yeah,
That's,
it'd be fine.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun. We've got a big Secret Santa thing going on.
Oh, great.
And then, I'm performing on Christmas Day.
Wow.
Happily performing on Christmas Day. Yes, that's something I've never done before. But my parents are going to watch the play on Christmas Day.
Oh, fantastic.
And there's a central scene in the middle of the play where we celebrate the harvest feast with a dinner.
Of course.
So that it'll be like
There's going to be
our
lots of
Christmas
parallels
dinner.
for you.
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
put some
yeah.
crackers on the table just to make it feel appropriate.
Right.
Yeah.
And then not long after you do that, you have a very exciting thing coming up at Feinstein's 54 Below.
Yeah.
You have a show you had done in London, right? And now
Yes,
you've
yeah.
brought it over here. Tell us a little bit about it.
So I did this show in London just before I started rehearsals, and I didn't actually have any plans to do it in New York. But when I got here, my agent here was really keen for me to do it. I mean, I'm obviously not singing in the Ferryman, but I have done lots of musicals before.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I
And
did.
Les Mis, you may know,
Yes,
and
yes,
you
I did,
led Candide. of
That's
course.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So I decided to do it at 54 Below, which is a great venue, and
It's a rite of passage here for New York
I think
actors.
so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aside from anything else, it's very nice to just have something else to focus on that's not the play,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be able to sing some stuff. I'm calling it session, which is so a session is like when you go to a pub. An Irish pub and musicians are playing in the corner.
Okay.
And they play tunes and stuff. So it's going to very much have the feel of a relaxed sort of pub setting, and I'm going to play lots of instruments. I'm going to sing a lot of folk songs, but a lot of musical theatre as well. But,
Yeah.
But it's going to be really nice and chilled, and I've got 3 guests joining me. Rachel Bade Jones, who
Your dear Evan Hansen.
exactly, yeah, which I'm really excited about.
She's
a
absolutely
legend.
fantastic,
And
yeah.
Scarlett Strallen, who played Cunegonde opposite me in Candide,
Happens-
who's now based here, and Laura Jane Mathewson, who's a very, very dear friend, who won an Evening Standard Award for Dogfight back in London.
Right, yeah.
So it's my friends. I've got folk musicians accompanying me. It's going to be good crack.
Yeah.
Come see it.
And do you is there a storytelling element to it? Do we get to know more about Fra at this show?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as you can tell, I like to waffle on. So there's going to be a lot of talking and talking about why I'm choosing the particular songs that I'm singing. It should be fun.
No, absolutely. Make sure you get tickets.
Please do.
Absolutely. I know we want to take some questions from people that are watching, fans of yours.
Yes.
What would they like to know?
Sure. One question that John says is, how do you de-stress after performance of The Ferryman? Because it is, as you said, quite exhausting.
Ends on a pretty high tension.
High intense note.
There's different ways. I'm not. Sometimes I have a pint, but not all the time, because then I'd probably have a problem. But sometimes just having a beer is with friends, particularly if they've watched the play. But I'll go home, I'll have a cup of tea, and I'll watch something sort of brain deady, and then just go to bed. But you do leave with your endorphins are through the roof, and you do need a bit of time to actually calm down from it.
Sure, absolutely.
So
I know I did.
I did.
Yeah. Everyone needs a stiff drink after watching the Ferryman.
Right, no, I think that's exactly what I did. Yeah.
So different ways. I'm watching The Good Place at the moment.
Oh, fantastic.
I only like
great
season
show.
1. I've literally just started it, but it's sort of
you're
perfect.
you're in for a
great.
ride.
Post Ferryman.
I would imagine,
viewing.
Especially just the reminder of good humanity and good people.
Exactly.
Like
so that's nice. So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
great.
I love that. Tyler wants to know what is your relationship with the Goose on set like?
My own
Goose.
personal relationship.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do
Are
you feel
and the
about the
Goose
Goose?
tight?
I'm afraid to say we don't really have much of a relationship, to be honest. What's her name again?
I don't remember her name.
No.
What? Peggy.
Peggy.
Thank you. Exactly. Tony.
Jackie helping us out with
So that just goes to show I don't really
You don't
Can
talk
you
with
know what?
Peggy?
No, she's lovely. She's lovely. Do you know? Oh no, it wasn't Peggy that laid an egg. The Goose in London laid an egg on stage.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that mental? And
Wow.
Tom Kettle, the character who holds the goose, caught the egg on the stage.
like in the show, like in the midst.
during.
What?
Extraordinary.
I would have
Yeah.
had a moment if
Yeah.
that was. Well, a New Year's resolution of yours, I think, should be to get along better with Peggy.
Form something of a relationship. That would be a nice thing to do.
I think so.
Get to
She's
know
got
Peggy.
the best. She's treated the best in the theater. Like her dressing room is far bigger than any of ours. Down in the
She
basement.
makes a hell of a cameo in that show.
I know.
You walk, yeah.
on for all of 40 seconds and steals the whole thing from us all.
Tony nomination for Peggy.
You know, absolutely.
I love that. And speaking of that, Jackie wants to know what happens if the babies start crying? Spoiler alert: there's babies.
There
in
is
the
a
film.
baby.
Real
Yes.
babies.
Well, yes.
But I mean, the babies actually go through an audition process. Believe it or not.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
I would believe-
So
yeah.
the lights are turned out, and we play the music at the top of Act 2, and if they are freaked out by it, if they start crying, well, then they're not
They
suitable for
might
our
not
play.
be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But naturally, babies are babies. So even if you cast the most docile little kid, it might just be hungry, or it might just be tired and cry. But that sort of adds to the naturalism of the play. What I love about it is, whilst there is magic and myth in the story as well, you don't have to imagine anything. It's all there. You can. The breakfast at the beginning is actually cooked. That's real food that we're eating. You can smell the
I was
bacon.
gonna say, yeah, you
can
can.
hear the babies. The Goose sometimes pisses on the stage.
Love
It's real, and that adds to the experience. We don't want to fake any of this.
No, it certainly does. Like I want there to be. Maybe I just want to explore that room back there, because you can see everything is just so tactile
beautiful.
and real and
Rob
gorgeously
Howell
set.
has designed it.
unbelievable.
And honestly, there should be a tour, because
Yes.
the detail in that set is stunning. Like
believe
tiny
that.
little bits of detail. You'd never see it from even the front row, but it's there.
And it does enhance. the
Well, it
experience.
helps us
Yeah,
certainly,
I
because
bet.
we don't have to. We're not in a black box. We don't have to imagine too much. That is our home, and it feels like our home, and we feel comfortable there, and it's really amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to look at.
Cool. We can do one more question, and the last one will be: what has been your favorite part about bringing the Ferryman to Broadway and this experience so far?
Oh, I think re-rehearsing it actually. There's lots of things that are wonderful about it, but I got a lot out of the re-rehearsing it with Sam Mendes, and I think we had 4 weeks extra. Having done it all before, So we knew where to stand. We knew the choreography.
Sure.
We knew the physical blueprint of the thing. It meant that we were able to just dig deeper with these characters and these stories in a way that perhaps we didn't have that luxury in London because there was a pressure to just put on the show. And that was so much more satisfying than I even thought it would be. You know, there was a danger of maybe thinking we're just going to try and do what we did before, but it actually felt like a new play because it's that rich, it's that good. You can actually find new things. So that was possibly the most satisfying thing about doing it again here.
And it has Broadway. Has it bitten you? Is Broadway something that you would continue to like to do? Would you like to stick around New York more, or are you eager
as I
to?
said, I do love the city. I really do love it, and Broadway's it's definitely a different feeling to the West End. It's a big, brash, exciting, colourful community. I mean, if it was the right thing, of course I'd love to do something here. I'd love to do a musical here. That would be really fun.
We'd love to. Do you have dream musical roles?
There are actually, yeah. I'm a massive fan of Stephen Sondheim stuff.
Absolutely.
I think right now I'd love to play George in Sunday in the Park with George one day. I think I've got a few years left for that, but yeah, I'd love to do some singing here. And certainly, yeah, I'd love to come back if I'm lucky enough to get the chance to.
Well, we'd love to have you. Fantastic show, fantastic
Thank you so
performance.
much.
Of course, make sure you go see The Ferryman at the Bernard B. Jacobs Theater here on Broadway. It's an incredible show. And then make sure you go check out Session at Feinstein's 54 Below on January 7th. Fra, thank you so much for coming by. You're welcome anytime. Love to have you, of course. Caitlin, why don't you take us out?
Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are live at 5 every single day on Facebook. You can listen to us in a podcast form by searching for a hashtag live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. We talk to Gavin Lee about how the Grinch stole Christmas.